Okay. Let's go ahead and get this started.
We're just getting started, actually.
Michael Vick and Tony Gonzalez will be here later in the show, but let's start with those Cowboys. Dallas improved to 4-3 after a rain-soaked 33-19 win on the road against the Redskins. Ezekiel Elliott rushed for over 100 yards for the third straight game, finishing with 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys defense was all over Kirk Cousins with 4 sacks and a pick six in the final minutes to seal the win. So, Shannon, you picked the Cowboys to lose.
I did.
Lost 2 cases to do.
Yeah, I did.
But how impressive were they?
I was very impressed with the Cowboys.
You were?
I was very impressed.
I'm shocked.
And let's start defensively first. Second half, what they were able to do, give up 6 points, force 3 turnovers. They got after the quarterback. Washington's inability to run the football, it left Kurt as a sitting duck. And when you have to drop back.
Wait, is he Kurt or Kirk?
Kirk.
Oh, Kirk. Oh,
Kurt. You know his name.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure. I thought you said Kirk.
No, I said Kurt.
I thought maybe you'd turn him back in.
No,
Kirk.
I did not. And it left him as a sitting duck back there. When you can't run the football and the defense knows you can't run the football and your only option is to drop back. Now, mind you, Skip, they're playing without 3 starting offensive linemen. The best 2 offensive linemen, left tackle Williams, right guard Sheriff, Pro Bowl players. And then the center goes out. And then they were playing without starters on defense. But let's just take the offense for it. I just don't really know what you expected anymore from Kirk to do. Kirk had his work cut out for him.
He's calling
Kirk.
him Kurt.
Kirk.
Didn't he call him
Kirk.
Kurt? It's okay if you do.
No.
I'm good with it.
My cousin
Okay.
didn't have a very good game and given the circumstances. But what's getting me more frustrated is their first-round pick keeps dropping balls. Josh Doxson. He's got to do a better job. He's got to come up with those balls.
I agree.
We saw it on a Monday night. We saw what he did.
He did.
We saw a big play in that game yesterday. We saw what happened.
Yep. I didn't see him drop any balls at TCU, but go ahead.
Yeah, but yesterday he dropped a few. He only had 1 catch. It was a touchdown, but he had some other opportunities.
Yep.
From Cowboys offense, and I keep telling you this, but you don't want to hear what I'm saying. As long as they got Secretariat back there. Now, if you want to give Ron Turcotte credit, because he was on his back all 3 of those races, you and I both know that Chestnut Bay colt did all the work.
Now, time out. You realize Secretariat was simply the greatest thoroughbred racehorse in history. You got that? So are you calling Ezekiel Elliott the greatest running back in history?
No.
Because you don't even call him the best running back in pro football because you say Le'Veon Bell is. Just for the record.
Here's the thing, though, Skip. When he's right, that's what he became. At the time, he was not that. Time will tell. History will judge whether or not Ezekiel Elliott is one of the all-time great. We have an opportunity now to look back on Secretariat. But all I'm saying is Ron Turcotte was along for the ride. Yesterday.
Oh, so now.
You get where I'm going.
Jockey for Secretariat. Dak Prescott. Wow, second in the NFL in QBR is the jockey for Secretariat. Go ahead. I'm listening.
If you don't mind me asking, how many yards did he throw for yesterday?
It was a driving rainstorm with high winds. What can you imagine worst case scenario for throwing the football?
I'm glad Kirk Cousins was playing in the phone booth. It wasn't raining on his side of the field or when he had the ball.
You see what happened early when it wasn't raining? Boom, 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 boom. Were there not some passes completed in that first drive?
No, what I did see.
I'm looking at that first drive. He goes 16 to Witten and 18 to Swaim, and then. Wait a minute, he throws to Terrence Williams for 25? That's pretty impressive. He looked like Dak Prescott before it started running.
And I saw Zeke hit the hole and nobody touched him, and he hit his head on the goalpost from about 20. And that's what
13, but that's...
And I said this on Friday. If you let Zeke Elliott get 140 or 150, you're not beating the Cowboys. It must be nice to be able to only throw the ball 22 times and got an old guy back there. You can turn around and hand it to him and go get the ball.
It's a driving rainstorm. Do you understand? It really doesn't translate on TV, but they said the winds were high and gusty. It's impossible.
If you don't mind me raising my hands, I played in a couple of those, and it was
Did
nice.
you throw in a couple of those?
No.
Thank you.
My point is, it's nice to be able to have a Terrell Davis back there, because John did not like throwing a wet ball. It was nice to turn around and hand him the ball, and at the end of the day, John might have thrown the ball 20 times, but we got to win because TD ran the air out of it. That's a nice luxury to have. The Cowboys had it. Washington did not. They won the game. To make a long story short, I was very impressed with the Cowboys, especially defensively. And Zeke is getting back to what I thought he was. But we're about to find out today, because something happens today. We're going to find out.
It will be interesting. But I believe that finally this judge will drop her gavel and say that's enough of this, and that he will play for the rest of the year. That's just my gut feeling on it. but I'm very curious to see how a female judge views a domestic violence case. It'll be very interesting.
Yes.
New deal, new twist to the plot. So we will see. Now, back to my Dallas Cowboys. I told you before, and I believe this more than ever after what I saw yesterday, they are going to track down the Philadelphia Eagles and win the NFC East. Because even though I didn't always love what I saw yesterday, even though some of it wasn't very pretty what I saw yesterday, they did what you always say. What do you say about you order on the menu? Are you looking for dubs, right? I'll have one of those. I'll have a dub. What they did was they beat their arch rival on the road in a driving rainstorm. Yes. And by the way, that's the 5th time in a row they've won at Washington against the Redskins. And all Dak Prescott did was move to 3-0 against Kirk Cousins, because yesterday he was more Kurt than Kirk.
No, it was a driving rainstorm.
Driving rainstorm. So the point is that right on schedule, even before it started driving rain, Kirk Cousins turned into Kirk Cousins, because remember the big play early? I thought I was getting in some trouble because it looked like Washington was driving for a 17-7 lead. And remember what happened on a big 3rd and 7 play into Cowboy territory? Could we see that play, the throw to Terrell Pryor, who had apologized before the game? I'm sorry, Redskin Nation. And he was wide open right at the boundary, and Kirk Cousins airmailed him. That was a key turning point play in the game for the Redskins, because you have to make that throw before it actually starts pouring rain.
Yes.
That was just a flat-out, I missed the throw that could have driven in the big nail in the coffin.
Yes.
Right? And then, of course, do I need to even point out, it was raining, but late in the game, Kirk Cousins did have a chance to go drive and either tie it or go for 2 and win the game at the end, because we kept giving you chances to get back in the game, and I'm sure you were just jumping up and down in your living room.
No.
Yeah, you were.
No, it was not.
You're saying, come on, Kirk. Come on. Don't be Kurt. Be Kirk.
No.
And right on schedule, what did he do? This is the guy. Tipped interception, pick 6, goes the other way, which is really good for my defense because that's contagious. You start, hey, we can do this.
That was the first interception since week 2.
I know, but it's like Byron Jones says, this was fun. I got to walk into the end zone with the touchdown.
Whatever.
So this is the Kirk Cousins that you say that they should pay, what, $150 million guaranteed for the next 5 years?
No, just 100 guaranteed, but 150.
No, I think on Friday you said way over 100.
Oh, he's going to get 100 guaranteed because Matthew Stafford just got 92.
Okay.
But Kirk will be free. There's a difference between having a year still on your contract and being totally free.
Yep.
He will get max dollars.
Okay. So I just hope and pray you are right about that, because I've told you again and again, I want to face, as a Cowboy fan, Kirk Cousins 10 times in the next 5 years. I just hope that happens. I hope they're backed into such a corner that they have to commit to a guy that they're clearly, Redskin management, not clearly sold on.
No, they're not.
So are you going to cut bait and go forward with Colt McCoy? I don't know. Looks like there's
draft.
Yeah, you're going to draft somebody and throw them in cold? I don't know. Are you going to give Kirk Cousins, what are we out of franchise tags now? I don't know. Okay, how many times?
Well, you can do it again, but you're going to have to pay him $34.5 million.
$34.5 million. I hope you do that for next year, because I say that's advantage Cowboys. So now, what did I see yesterday for the first time? I saw resilience. What did I see Ezekiel Elliott do on the first play that he carried in the game?
Fumbled.
He fumbled. And I was like, oh, my God, what? This is just what he did last year at Washington, remember?
Yep.
And he basically got benched at the end of the game in favor of Alfred Morris.
That is correct.
After that, Ezekiel Elliott touched the ball, carried the football 32 more times, and did not fumble. That was huge in that game. And then I told you again and again on Thursday and then Friday, I was scared to death of one Mike Nugent, a Redskins reject at a tryout the week before, because they kept this kid from Highland Park in Dallas, right?
Rose.
Yeah. And what happened? I thought Mike Nugent was going to perhaps kick me right in the stomach, and he did. On the first kick that he tried, duck hook left from 49 yards, didn't even sniff the left upright. And I thought, uh-oh, I'm in big trouble. And talk about resilience. Mike Nugent, way to go. Second half, he goes 4 for 4 on field goals. And my team, who had struggled in the second half without Sean Lee against the Rams and against Aaron Rodgers, won the second half 19-6. That was big time. And there were chance after chance after chance that I thought they were going to break the game wide open and have one of those San Francisco kind of displays where you would really be sweating over in that seat.
No.
But what happened when Zeke got loose? Remember that play? It looked like he had scored.
They got the holding call on.
They got the holding call.
Tyron
Could we
Smith.
see that holding call on Ty Smith? This is about to break the game open here. Here we go. This is a holding call on Ty Smith, and I have no idea how this is holding. If somebody could explain that to me, because that looked like that was ball game for the Redskins. Is that holding? It looks like his hands are between.
Well, here's the thing. When the defender tries to disengage and you're pulling him back, they're going to call that more time.
It looked like you were pushing him backward.
Well, he tried to get loose, and and that's what they saw. And especially
ticky-tack at best?
I wouldn't say ticky-tack, Skip. You won the game.
This is a Pro Bowl left tackle. It could have been another show of force, tour de force. It could have been another one of those games where Shannon Sharp sits back and says, wow, that was some firepower.
It wasn't enough for you guys to beat them.
Okay, but it kept going field goal, field goal, field goal. And then we got another ticky-tack call, and Mike Pereira and Troy Aikman both said on Fox that it was just ticky-tack at best on Anthony Brown that gave Kirk Cousins a touchdown late in the game that actually made Kirk Cousins made it interesting.
You did it on purpose. No. You try to be slick, Skip. You think you slipped.
He turned into Kirk
No, he did
Cousins.
not. It was hold on. The difference between the two teams, one had a guy in Ezekiel Elliott, and they had their starting line. So they were able to run the football. The other team did not have their starting line, and they don't run the football as proficiently, even when they have their starting line. So it asked the quarterback to drop back and throw the ball more than you would want to in a situation where the reins and the elements come into effect. It's really nice when you can take the snap, turn around and hand it to a guy, and he's picking up 4 yards, 5 yards, 10 yards, a clip.
Yep.
I'm giving you credit. Why can't you just take the credit? The Cowboys played well. I thought the turning point of the ball game on the very first play, the Cowboys fumble. It was like a win by holding Washington to 3 points.
You mean,
Zeke fumbled on their first possession. Zeke's first touch, he fumbles the ball. Cowboys come on the field.
Orlando Scandrick made a really good tackle on third down on that series.
That was a big turning point of the ball game.
Yep.
I thought the biggest turning point of the ball game, you're getting an opportunity. Washington is getting ready to kick a field goal. Skip, they're about to go up 2 scores. And not only do they not go up 2 scores, in one play later, they're down a score. That was really the turning point of the ball game, and the Cowboys really didn't look back after that point. But I want to give them credit. I've been first. I wanted to see how well they can play. They played very well. David Irving was getting after the quarterback. Lawrence again, another game, another sack. But I'm telling you,
DeMarcus Lawrence, that guy leads the league in sacks. I can't help it. It's just a fact.
All I'm saying is that when defensive linemen, especially the line, do not have to worry about staying in there and playing the run. They can just jump off the ball and go get your quarterback. You're in for a long evening. And that's what Washington was. They're in for a long evening because they couldn't run the ball.
Okay. Thank you for bringing up the blocked field goal, because I believe that was the turning point in the entire Cowboys season. The turning point a year ago was the interception that Kirk Cousins threw into the end zone when he went to church, to Barry Church. Remember that? And
yes.
It would have been game over for Washington last year, except Dak then took it 80 yards the other way for a touchdown. They won 27-23. The block kick, and also I got to give our man Orlando Scandrick credit for this. What a nifty reverse field he had on the return, because he starts to run to the right, almost like a punt returner, and stops and pivots and comes clear back left and picks up a whole wall of blockers. I thought he was running out of gas a little bit down the sideline. I think you better run a couple sprints this week just in case, Orlando.
The thing is, and this is what you get a lot of times on block, because you got guys that are not used to tackling.
You got it.
You got big offensive linemen. So basically, you got a kicker, you got a holder. Normally, it's linebacker or tight ends that are the wings, and everybody else is like either O-line or D-lineman. But they're not used to tackling people in the open field. So that's why a lot of times you get these returns for touchdowns. He start one way. These guys got on big old knee braces, Skip. They can't reverse field.
So he goes 86 yards, and all of a sudden it becomes 14-13 Dallas.
Correct.
That's a 10-point swing, because they're going to get it. Was a pretty easy field goal.
Yes.
I mean, you got to make that one, and it gets blocked. It's getting wet. It's getting soggy. You got a kid who's never kicked before, except he did kick on Monday night. Obviously, it was the first game ever. And that leads me to what happened at that point at 14-13. Dez Bryant happened again.
What?
He became the story of the game at that moment for all the wrong reasons. And I thought Fox, if I may, did a great job of covering this story, because Troy Aikman was all over it, sideline leaders in New York. And he's getting into it first with his quarterback, and Dak Prescott appeared to want none of the above. I think he shut him down pretty quickly. Then he gets into it with Derek Dooley, the receivers coach. And then he tries to get into it with Jason Garrett, who also just kind of waves him off. And yet he did run to the sidelines holding up 2 fingers. And he said after the game, he was actually, and he didn't do a big press interview, he ducked that one, but he told one of the reporters that he was actually trying to signal what coverage the Redskins were playing. I don't think I'm going to buy that. It could be, but I don't think I'm going to buy that one. So all of a sudden, you have just had the play of the year. Think about this. It's going to, we'll look back on this play. Yeah. This is a turning point because here they're going to go because upcoming, you got Kansas City, and you got at Atlanta, and you got the big Philadelphia night game. And this is it. This is the stretch. And I believe they can win all 4 of these games in a row. But this was the turning point. And all of a sudden, number 88, your highly paid wide receiver, is saying, wait a minute, it's all about me because I have only 2 targets so far. That was the interpretation of Troy Aikman. I'm gonna run with that because I think that's what it was. So this is the guy who has been far more trouble than he's worth. This is the guy who's been thrown to now 64 times this year and has caught only 32 balls.
That's the 7th most targets in the NFL.
It is.
He has more targets than Julio Jones.
And he's tied for 3rd lowest percent of targets caught. It's just not good enough. More trouble than you are worth. I wish that Jason Garrett had the guts at that point just to say, just come over here. I want you to come stand by me for a while. And
you go tell Jerry on him.
Okay, you could, and maybe that would work. You know what?
You know it'll work.
It might. It just might work. He does make a whole lot of money. And he did get open later for an 18-yarder when they just blew the coverage. But what happened after that 18-yarder? Because at that point, there's 1:34 left in the 3rd quarter. It's still a really tight nip-tuck game. And what happens on the next play? It's the 1st and 10 play. And they throw it into the end zone. Do we have that play right there? And I know this is a tough catch, but if you are one of the top wide receivers, do you not make that? Do you not just put that in your back pocket? I know it's wet. I know it's raining.
It is a tough catch, Skip, because the thing is that the ball is coming down.
See it.
It's coming down.
Shielded.
Yeah, and it's almost like it just falls out of the sky on you.
I got it. If you're that guy, if you're Shannon Sharp, I think you make that play.
No.
Yes.
If you're complaining about catches, you make that catch.
You make that catch.
Because you telling people, I'm open. I only got 2 targets. Okay, when they give you an opportunity, what the hell are you doing with it? Yeah. You drop the ball. So all he's going to do is go upstairs and tell his dad, Jerry. Jerry's going to call Jason into his office and say, I want him to have more targets. Yeah, I want him to have more targets next week. That's how it's going to work. And he'll be okay.
Right now, so far, the Dallas Cowboys are winning in spite of, not because of Des Bryant.
Well, Skip, if you can run the ball like they can, and everybody else is going to make contributions, is Witten and the Bryce Butlers and Terrence Williams and the Cole Beasley. He caught 1, but it was a big 3rd down catch. If they're going to all contribute, why am I going to force feed you the ball?
Don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, Des may go complain to Jerry, but Dak's the one who's going to have to throw it.
But then Jason Garrett getting Dax here. Well, we need to give 88 a couple of more targets. Even Jerry might call him up there and say, Dak. No, we got to get.
See, now you're just rooting for. He's rooting for a dissension.
No, I don't want that. If I don't like dissension.
Oh, you're on the bandwagon now.
No, I'm definitely not on that.
Well, it was very impressive for them to play without an offensive line, though. I'll give them that.
No.
At the end of the game, they had just one of their.
They called a guy. They calling guys on Saturday. We need you to catch a flight to come play a game on Sunday.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Which is why I did not rave about David Irving or DeMarcus Lawrence. They did what they should have done.
Right, exactly.
Dominate.
So are you going to pay now, or are you just going to keep a running total?
No, I think we might be even now.
Oh, I like that math. That's Shannon math.
Hold on. What about the Cowboys and the Rams?
Huh?
What about them? No. What about the? Yes, we did. We bet no, because I told ED, and ED got a case on you too. But what about the Broncos and the Rams? So we even. I get it back this week. Who y'all play this week? Who y'all play?
Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, I'll get it back. I'm about to get it back.
You like
back.
Alex Smith now?
Yeah, sure do.
Good.
I like Hunt even better.
Check it out, Alex. The Houston Texans had a strong response to Bob McNair yesterday, and we'll discuss that next.